Welcome back. We're here for another episode.
So it's been fun talking about Christmas. And of course, as we all dig through things, we find things. So I found this really fun thing that we had done a long time ago. And in here, if you remember the episode that we were talking about Christmas stockings, and Dad's Christmas stocking was going down all poorly in skis, and Josiah couldn't remember that he was a bad skier. And I said, okay, he doesn't remember, but he wrote an article about it, so you'll see it. So, so it's so fun looking at old things.
So, just to introduce this was our family Christmas newsletter in 1990. And before we started recording this, we were just laughing at how far technology has come. And if you look at the clip art throughout this, it's just so... And back then it was like... really advanced. Like, here's an airplane and a ship. And to have a photo, we actually had to print photos and attach them.
And we spent hours on this. You guys all picked assignments, what you were going to write about, and wrote your articles, and you guys laid it out. You older two, because you were 11 at the time.
Yeah, so I was 11, and Andres was 5, Leah was 3, Esther was 8, and John was 24. Which would have been around the time of this photo.
What did you say? What computer was that?
An Apple IIe, I believe. Unless this was like an upgraded one. An Apple IIe was our first computer.
I don't think we had too much upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd wait for the dial-up. You'd do a whole bunch of times, and you'd finally get on.
That nasty noise.
And then the printer was that kind?
It's like the...
Yeah,
it's like it makes all the noise and goes back and forth, making each line.
But you know what a treasure this is? And so one of my things that I always just love to talk to people about, if you're not a journaler or a scrapbook or whatever, these are incentives just to have, sometimes when you feel like writing, just do it. Because you come across bits like this, and it's just really fun to dive back and look at both what our world was like then, what our family was like, and the humorous stories that we've forgotten.
And not to worry about, if you skip a year or you feel like it's never too late.
And this is a one-time thing, but it's really...
Yeah, this was the Titus Tales. It would have been so fun if we did it every year, but at least we have this
That was my original plan, but you know how plans go.
Yeah. So to get back to the skiing, I did not remember anything about you being a bad skier, but apparently I wrote this, which is funny because now almost like 35 years later, you forget a lot. But yeah, this is called Skiing by Josiah. One of my best field trips with the homeschooling group is skiing every winter. I learned how from Don Neal. It is a lot of fun if you don't break a leg or get hurt like Jenny Bloom did one year. Some of us ski like silver bullets and some of us ski like rusty bolts, like my dad. I was hoping he would come down the big hills with me, but he couldn't even pass the beginner hill. I can't wait until February comes to ski again.
That is hilarious.
And I have skied in Vail, Colorado. I've gone down the mountain in Vail, Colorado. But
you just can't handle the big hills of Minnesota?
It's much easier because it's gradual and there's deeper snow, and it's I think Minnesota hills are harder to ski.
I think you were just younger then.
It's not even that you're wrong. It's just counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's Titus logic, and it's I can ski the big mountains, but not the Minnesota hills.
Well, was that a Wisconsin hill?
That might have been. It might have been Trollhagen, but what's the difference?
Yeah.
And to me, like right away, what jumped out at me is this story is about the York Avenue Art Fair, which we did for years. I kind of graduated out of doing it, and the younger siblings kept doing it. And every year we had an art fair in the driveway with craft stations, performances, and neighbors would come and they'd buy 10-cent tickets. And, in exchange for a ticket, you'd get to do an activity or have a treat.
Or watch a show.
And this year, we made $113.85 in 10-cent tickets. The money went to the Linden Hills Library to buy them new books. And each book had a special book plate thanking the art fair. I feel like we should do a whole episode where we actually gather some
Yeah.
photos or memories and talk about
Yes, we have some. And the library would always invite us up after the books came in to show us a stack of books with the book plates in, and thanks to the art fair. And I thought that was fun to do. So fun memories. And it ties into art, doesn't it? Way back then. It's so interesting.
And we brought an episode or two about Christmas where some of this came up, like the Advent calendar we showed you in a recent episode. And this is us writing about the Advent calendar. I might as well read this one. The first day of December, we put out our Advent calendar. There are 25 pockets, and every day we take one out, and it's a picture, and it tells us what to do for Christmas that day. My favorites are cutting the tree, putting our shoes out for St. Nicholas, and Christmas shopping. That's by Esther. And here's one about the Jesse tree. I think that might have been one of the washed out things that are hard to see now.
The Jesse shoes there.
Okay. Yeah, and then Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So that's just like a fun thing. Was there one you wanted to read?
Yes.
I'm going to say that Karen is a teacher by trade, and so when it came to homeschooling our kids, she had curriculums. It was really fun to homeschool with the teacher in charge of the whole thing.
This is pretty fun. Favorite gift received? This is from Esther. I got twin dolls from Grandma and Grandpa when I was 3. She's now 8. When I was 7, we went to the Philippines to adopt Leah. I gave one of them to Leah in the mail before we went. I took the other one along so we could play with them together. It helped her get to know me better. Before we went, my mom went to a garage sale and found another doll. So now, like the others, so now Leah and I have triplets. But we sent her and a picture of each of us and then a picture of the 2 dolls together and said we sent Molly to you and they'll be together when they come back. And I don't know if Leah still has the book, but we just put it on adhesive sheets. She was 2 years old and she got that and carried her doll and her book around the whole time. And so when Esther came, she immediately wanted to go to Esther because Esther had the doll too. So it was just a really fun bonding kind of thing to do that.
And really funny aside, when Hank was probably about 4 or 5, he found out that twins meant 2 babies. One of like Jamie's really good friends had twins, and he was like, "So twins means 2 babies? What are 3 babies? Dodgers?" And look at what hat he's wearing right now.
Oh, what do you think?
He's wearing a Dodger hat right now.
Oh, so. Isn't that fun? Oh, that is hilarious.
It is. No, the Dodgers are number 1.
Yeah.
Then here's Andres. I gave Daddy a cow cup. He was born on a farm and the cows made milk for him, so he likes to collect cow things. He still does, but he drinks tea from it.
Well,
and
what's funny, one of your big regrets in life, we were down at the lake in our neighborhood, and you were wearing a Holstein cow shirt that had the front of the cow in the front, and the cow's like butt, like behind and like the back, and a guy walked up to you and offered you like $40 for it, and you took off your shirt and gave it to him for $40. I think you switched shirts.
Yeah.
And you always talked about how that was like one of the great regrets of life.
I hope you did something. See, the problem was you didn't do anything special with that money, and you couldn't find that
No.
shirt again, so it just disappeared.
You went and bought like milk with it.
Yeah.
And beef.
Yes, exactly.
right.
The groceries.
Cheese.
Would've been
Read this
funny-
one. That's a fun one.
Would have been funny with like a hole in the back and like had milk come out.
Favorite gift given. This is by me. One year we made lots of candles for gifts. Esther's Sunday school teacher was sick, so we gave her gift to an older man. The next day he called and said he had a little gift for us. He gave us a whole set of childcraft. Those are the books, like the
Yes, the
encyclopedias.
whole set,
The whole
yes.
set, which was like a really generous
Yes,
gift.
the whole set.
Really?
He was so touched. He was sitting alone in the back, and it was actually Esther came up to me and said, "Mom, can I give my gift to him?" Because she had her teacher gift ready, and he was just sitting alone.
Yeah, and the second paragraph is 6 months later, we invited him over for supper, and again he asked, "Can I bring something?" My dad said yes. Dad joked to us that maybe it was a set of encyclopedias. And when he came, he brought a whole set of encyclopedias. And he brought Esther a big doll.
Oh, that great big doll
Yeah.
that I think we finally got rid of.
Oh, I remember that.
That is so
But I
cool.
think that one was really fun. So hopefully this inspires you to think about some of the things that we've done.
Part of it, just documenting it, you forget a lot of these things.
Oh, you
And
absolutely
they're
do.
Wonderful
yeah.
stories.
You absolutely do. Let's see. I just wanted to see what else was just humorous here.
I think we should
yeah.
read this one. This is
Just-
by
Andres.
Andres.
This is what the page looks like.
Andres wrote about families. I came over from the Philippines, which is on the other side of the world. The first Tituses who came here came 15 years after the Mayflower from England, which is across the ocean. The Tituses are all from a different country, and we all came from across the ocean. I love that. Oh, you have to read this one. I think that's pretty funny, but pretty fun.
A page from history. Wednesday, October 10th, 1990. My assignment. To draw a picture of the Mayflower showing what people did, where things went, and how things happened. Instead of a man being washed overboard by a storm, I drew him driving off of a plank. Or diving off of a plank. Instead of kids swinging from the ropes, I drew them swinging from the chandeliers. Instead of cold salt horses,
Salt horse. I think
salt
that was-
horse, the chef declares, tonight we dine by candlelight. Instead of floor space, I drew brass canopy beds.
Great.
Grade Z minus for realism, A plus for imagination.
And you gave yourself the grade too.
And Z minus is an 11-year-old real grade.
And I liked Andres put, so he's in kindergarten at the time. I play the letter hunt game. I draw letters on cards and put them on something that begins like that letter, like L for lamp. Then Mom or Jos have to go find them. I like to have a snack every time I have a break, and I can have a break whenever I want because I'm only in kindergarten. I have snacks a lot. That's the best thing about homeschooling. So, let's see. Where? Oh, this was cute in the front. This is a picture of Leah. It says, Leah gave herself a haircut. Now when she wears pigtails, she only has one. And she cut off half of her hair. So,
She did?
yes. And the most interesting thing, when she did that, we couldn't find it. And she was such a quiet child.
Yeah.
We did not find it for like 6 months. And she
Yeah.
put it in a drawer under our bed or something.
Yeah,
It's
you had
just
like
pretty funny.
you had one of those old water beds that had
Yeah.
big,
Big.
heavy
Yep.
drawers that were
Yep.
impractical. They were more storage than anything.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
pulled it out one time, and the linens in there were just covered in hair.
Yes, yes.
Leah's here.
This one we each did a I used to poem, and mine is funny and feels accurate. I used to eat ice cream, but now I don't, and now I do again. I used to have to sleep in the camper, but now I have my own tent. I used to be even, but now I'm odd. I used to grind my teeth, but now I walk in my sleep. And I still walk in my sleep. And now Hank is starting to...
I
Oh,
talk.
He talks in his sleep a lot.
and so has Tim always. So my goodness, carried down
Family.
through the men in the family here.
But I took up the grinding my teeth.
Later,
Mental.
you switch that way? Okay.
You still do?
No, later in life.
Well, I do something with my teeth, my jaw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
a bad one. I'm glad I grew out of that. But sleepwalking isn't great either.
No.
And in fact, a funny story about sleepwalking. One of our good family friends, I don't know why, but I'd rather just like not name them. But we did sleepovers
You might
often.
know why.
And one morning I woke up in my friend's parents' bed. And they'd already gotten up, but I was like, you've got to be kidding me. How did I end up in their bed? I don't think I had ever even been in their bedroom. I wake up in their bed alone, and I sit there trying to figure a way out of it, but here I am. And I go downstairs, and my friend's mom was like, so how did you sleep last night? And I was so embarrassed. And thankfully they didn't like rub it in or like make me uncomfortable, but you know, it's to be a kid and wake up in your friend's parents'
I'll
bed.
cut this out, but which family?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll cut out. Maybe ask him later.
on the way home.
And this was really sweet. This was, so the 5-year-old. If I could interview anyone I wanted, I would interview my foster mom in the Philippines, and I would ask, did I ever try to climb out of my bed? I slept in a basket hanging from the ceiling. You know there was a hurricane in the Philippines. Did your house get hurt? Would you like to see me again when I'm 6? Oh, I love that. Do you think about me? Do you get fish at the Sorry Sorry store? And along with this amazing picture that shows us reading. And I have...
Yeah, so it's titled Mom is Reading to Leah, Andres, Jos, and Me. Esther, age 7.
And I have Leah on my shoulders, someone on my lap.
Andres?
Oh, Andres is on my lap. I think Leah's on my shoulders and the 2 by the side. All 4 of us, and we're all just gathered. And we read like that all the time.
And this was every morning until I went to high school. Started with us having bowls of cereal lined up, and you would read literature to us. Novels, histories.
Biographies. Okay, we'll end with just a couple more, and then we'll be done. And we'll just, but look at this.
You want to read it? Or do you want?
This is Josiah.
Bug?
And he drew a picture of a bug. Once, Mom paid me 50 cents to get an ugly bug out of the house. It was more fun than cleaning out the car, and it paid better, too. 50 cents was quite a bit back then.
And now Hank pays me 50 cents to get rid of spiders and centipedes.
I pay you the experience of fathering me.
That's so generous of
I was
you.
like, Hank would not be doing that.
No.
Hank would not.
I'm still on bug duty.
But that is so fun. You're still on. Okay.
I saw a centipede didn't go to the bathroom for a day once. I saw a centipede there.
And then the last one that you wrote, Timothy Titus. When Dad lived in Los Angeles, the pastor's wife heard that his name was Timothy Titus. She said, when I was a little girl, I had trouble remembering what came first in the Bible, Timothy or Titus. So my grandma made up a poem. Oh, Timothy Titus, come out of the woods and bite us. And we laugh about how inappropriate that would be now.
Yeah.
Would just not, did not stand the test
But I
of
bet
time.
it worked.
But
I bet she
was-
kept them in order.
Yes, oh, she did. And she was so excited to meet me. She never met a Timothy Titus before.
So I always say it's easy to remember his name because of that, from in the Bible. So, our hope with this is we want to hear back stories from you about memories like this, the sharing. And do you gather around the table? Part of even being with old friends, too, is you reminisce about the old times. And doing this as multi-generations is just kind of fun. So we're going to be finding more things and just talking.
Yeah, and we're recording this before any have gone live. And we're hoping that as they start to go live, the future recordings will be incorporating stories that you're sharing with us, or ending with cards that made a difference in your life, or a card that you made that made a difference in someone's life. We really want to tell your stories too.
And to close this out, we're doing a card that made a difference. I think this is just a sweet story. Christine said, just what every card crafter wants to hear. Just a few days before my granddaughter's birthday, she looked at me and said, Gigi, you're going to make me a birthday card, right? Of course, Cora dear, of course.